Good evening, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back and nice to have you here. So, as always, I appreciate your engagement with my YouTube and especially your constructive and inspiring comments are appreciated. Thank you. So, I'm going to share some news for today in reading and some videos at the end. Thank you again. Here we go. Here are the news and the concerned citizens comment for August 21st, 2021. Oromo Liberation Army operations against Ethiopia's Prosperity Party intensified. OLA spokesperson Mr. Oda Turbi said the armed group controlled the Fincha sugar factory located in Horo Guduru town in West Wolaga, Oromia region. Fincha sugar factory is a major sugar factory that produces ethanol and other products in western Oromia region. It is a huge loss for Ethiopia's government, who is already struggling financially and high shortage of consumer goods like sugar. OLA is extending its control further into major towns and cities. The group is currently in action to capture Negele Borana, the major city in Guji zone. The Oromo Liberation Army is also conducting its military operations in about 20 kilometers from Abiy Ahmed's palace in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. At the meantime, Oromo Liberation Front appointed Najat Hamza, the Twin City residents in Minnesota, and Oromo community activist to serve as OLF global spokesperson. Her choice will be an asset for OLA's global outreach and for Oromo's struggle for freedom. Concerned Citizens Media congratulates and wish Najat Hamza success on her new appointment. So, OLA, Oromo Liberation Army, operations are very intensified in several fronts in West, East, South, and the Central Oromia region. And several videos and photos are circulating in social media. OLF controlling, especially the road connecting Ethiopia to Kenya, conducting search and doing other activities. So the situations are getting tough on PP. There is unconfirmed reports of Turkish cargo arriving in Addis Ababa after Abiy Ahmed's visit to Turkey and signing military and other agreements with Turkish president last week, in the last few days. Talk of Turkish drones cited arriving in this cargo shipment to Addis Ababa. The United States, Western nations, and the global media must follow up this alarming news very seriously and confirm with further investigation. The current Ethiopian government is not only waging the war against Tigrayans and Oromos, but also against the United States and the Western nation. It has been clearly known through Ethiopian officials' repeated rhetoric and They organized multiple pro-government protests at home and at the global stage. Abiy Ahmed and his close associates are determined to continue the civil war in Ethiopia by all means, including using scarce countries' resources to purchase Turkish and other countries' costly drones, tanks, and other military hardwares. United States, European Union, United Nations, African Union, and others must do everything in their capacity to end the bloodshed in Ethiopia. Ethiopians' sufferings and deaths for a single person's dream and a kingdom must come to an end. So it's in the news and it's reported some, cargo arriving in Addis Ababa, and it should be further investigated and verified what is inside that cargo, and it should be treated with, taken seriously, because Abiy Ahmed is determined to continue the bloodshed, and we don't, the global community should not allow this person to cause further bloodshed in that country. So the United States, European Union, and others, if this guy survives and continue his leadership in that country, he will turn against the United States. He will turn again against any European Western nations. It's already clear. He indicated that through galvanizing the Ethiopians for these unnecessary confrontations. So he should be handled, he should be controlled. What is bringing in, what is he sending out, he should be controlled. If not, it will be the problem for the global community. It will be the worst dictatorship than Idi Amin. So what is Turkey sending to Ethiopia should be investigated, even other countries. So this is not reported by major news, but some, reported the suspicious activity, probably drone and other hardwares coming from Turkish to Ethiopia. So especially the United States should treat this very seriously. He already indicated that he is against the United States, so far by words, but if he got power, he will show it up. So he already disrespected the United States. He disrespected, the government representatives coming or visiting Ethiopia. He is doing everything through, rhetoric, bad speech. So I don't think he will be friendly. So he should be taken seriously and must be dealt with. The Oromos living in Atai in Wello, Oromia Special Zone, Amhara region, are living under the threat of heavily armed Amhara Special Forces. The Amhara Special Force is disarming and arresting residents just by blaming them as Onek Shane supporters, even waging a war in that area. According to several media reports, the Amhara Special Forces and Amhara region's authorities are using the current situation as an advantage to expand their territory further into Oromia Special Zone, and possibly to eliminate the Special Zone designation from the Amhara region. The Amhara region is also forcing the Oromos living in these areas to fight the TDF. Oromos in Wello are fighting Amhara's war, and the Amharas are taking their land and threatening their existence. The Amhara Special Force are also waging the war against the Karayu Oromos to fulfill the Amhara's expansionist agenda. So that is the situation. The war is happening, just blaming those areas as supporters of OLF and taking, the advantage of the situation, getting heavy armaments and fighting the Oromos. So it's a very bad situation, especially the Oromos, under Amhara region. And this situation is similar to the Abdi Ile time. Abdi Ile, when he was sending those Somalia special forces to displace, to kill, to destroy the livelihood of Oromos. So now Oromos under Amhara Special Zone are facing the same situation. And the federal government is not protecting them. There's no protection. So the Amharas are taking the advantage. They are armed heavily, everything available for them, but the Wellos and the Karayus are suffering at this time, and they need global attention and Oromos attention, and need help. If not, they will be eliminated by these opportunistic Amhara special forces. Ethiopia plans national dialogue to bid to diffuse tension. Ethiopia will begin holding a national dialogue in September to address grievances that have undermined stability in the Horn of African nation, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's office said. A roadmap for talks will be announced this month, and a structure will then be put in place to facilitate them, Bilene Siyum, Abiy's spokeswoman, told reporters in the capital Addis Ababa on Friday. The discussion forms part of a reform process the government embarked upon 3 years ago, she said, without saying who will participate. Federal troops and the militia have been battling dissidents from the northern Tigray region since November, fighting that displaced thousands and thousands of people and left millions more facing hunger. Ethnic rivalries have also degenerated into violence in several other areas, and Abiy is facing calls to grant regional authorities greater autonomy. On Thursday, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged Ethiopia's government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which control Tigray, to end hostilities and enter into talks. It is time for all parties to recognize that there is no military solution, and it is vital to preserve the unity and the stability of Ethiopia, which is critical to the region and beyond, Guterres said, adding that his special envoy, Martin Griffin, met TPLF leader Debretsion Gebremichael to discuss the conflict. The United States is also trying to broker peace with President Joe Biden's special envoy for the Horn of Africa, Jeffrey Feltman, making his third trip to the region to discuss how to kickstart talks. Samantha Powers, head of the U.S. Agency for International Development, visited the country earlier this month. So there is an interest on the government side to have a dialogue. I don't know what kind of dialogue you have with the prime minister want to fight and keep his power through military means by using all the country's resources. How do you negotiate? Is it inclusive, TPLF, OLF, and other stakeholders, or he tried to call all these parties who participated in the election? It remains to be seen. But Abiy Ahmed is not trustworthy, and the groups, the Prosperity Party, no. So it is better the United States, the UN, to call for for a better mediators on this discussion, and instead of leaving to Abiy Ahmed to organize the dialogue, to set up the direction. No, no, and it's unacceptable from the dictator who want to win the war just by using the country's resources. He created all these instabilities, no, so he cannot be the solution. The solution is he must be set aside, he must resign, and then open, facilitates the situation for others, just like Haile Mariam Desalegn, the former prime minister. It must be like that. If not, whatever negotiation you have, whatever dialogue you have with this guy, you will not be successful. So that's my take. That's a concerned citizens media take. He should be removed, and international organizations, nations should be take part in this to facilitate the dialogue and the reconciliation with all stakeholders. So that is the best solution. Okay, the United States accused the Ethiopian government again in blocking food aid. This is not the first time. This is repeated again. So U.S. accused again. Ethiopia Tigray crisis. U.S. accuses Abiy's government of blocking aid. The United States International Development Agency blamed the Ethiopian government for a shortage of humanitarian aid in the country's conflict-torn Tigray region. U.S. aid accused the government of obstructing access to Tigray, as it warned that food aid was set to run out this week for the first time. Hundreds of thousands of people are at risk of famine amid the conflict between the government and the rebel forces. Ethiopia has denied purposely blocking aid. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's spokeswoman told reporters that the government was allowing aid convoy to enter Tigray, but that security was a priority that cannot be compromised. That's what she said. It is a volatile area, so there are going to be continuous checks and processes, said Blene Siyum. In her statement, U.S. Aid Chief Samantha Power described the flow of humanitarian assistance into the northern region as woefully insufficient. She said food warehouses were virtually empty and that aid workers would soon have nothing to distribute. This shortage is not because of food unavailable, but because the Ethiopian government is obstructing humanitarian aid and personnel, including land convoys and air access, she said. That's a very damning accusation. It noted that 8 trucks have been able to leave the town of Semera in the neighboring Afar region, currently the only accessible land route into Tigray. The United Nations has separately told the BBC more than 108 trucks are stuck on this road. About 100 trucks of aid are needed in Tigray each day, yet just 320 have managed to reach the region since the end of June, a UN spokesman told the BBC. At least 2 important aid organizations have already run out of food, said Saviano Abreu from the UN Humanitarian Agency, OCHA. Without urgent and an impending food assistance, there will be an imminent threat to the lives of over 400,000 people in Tigray, already in a famine-like conditions, and over 1.8 million people now emergency level of hunger could slide into starvation, he said. So that is Ethiopia purposely blocking food aid into the Tigray region and using excuses of search or security concerns. So that is the situation. And the last one on the reading part, European Union says no recognition of Taliban or no political talks. The European Union has not recognized the Taliban. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Saturday, nor is it holding political talks with the militant a week after they seized control of Afghanistan. The Taliban completed a lightning takeover of Afghanistan on Sunday, walking into the capital Kabul without firing a shot. That's last Sunday. The head of the European Union executive spoke after visiting a reception center in Madrid for Afghan employees of EU institutions evacuated from Kabul. Von der Leyen said she would propose an increase in the 57 million euros or 67 million in American dollar in human aid, which the Commission had allocated this year for Afghanistan. She said EU development aid is tied to respect of human rights, good treatment of minorities, and the respect for the rights of women and girls. We may well hear the Taliban's words, but we will measure them above all by their deeds and action, von der Leyen told a news conference. She said the Commission was ready to provide funding to European Union countries which help resettle refugees, and she planned to raise the resettlement issue at G7 meeting next week. After a week in 2015, when more than 1 million migrants came to the European Union, mostly from Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq, the EU has cut the number of arrivals thanks to a deal with Turkey, which receives EU funds to host asylum seekers in its territory. So that's the reading part. So Afghanistan, Taliban, that's the issue. If they want to be recognized by the global community, they must respect the right of women, the right of girls, and they cannot run the country as 1990s. No, this is a different world. We are in the 21st century. They must make some adjustment, and some restriction may be okay. Some religious restriction may be okay. Too much is going to create problem. So we will see. So far, they captured the Afghanistan, but no recognition. UN, US, EU, no recognition yet. So that's the situation. Okay, that's enough on the reading part. Let's share some videos and conclude today's presentation. There we go. There we go. That's good. Okay. There we go.
the 21st of August today. Three news stories. Reportedly, Amhara militia members have entered two zones of Oromia region where fighting is underway between Oromo Liberation Army and Amhara militia members supported by Oromia regional forces. Secondly, we have an update about TDF's attack on Zone 2 of Afar region. Today was the second day of this attack on Birhale Wareda of Zone 2 in Afar. Thirdly, Amhara Special Forces, Amhara Regional Forces have shared pictures from Ghase, Ozet, and Kamidinge. They're claiming to be in control of these key places which are situated between Debre Tabor and Gashina. Let's have a look at the first news story. Amhara militia members have entered two zones of Oromia region. In these two zones, heavy fighting is underway between Oromo Liberation Army and Amhara militia members supported by Oromia regional forces. The two zones are firstly East Shiva zone. In East Shiva, reportedly Amhara militia members have entered Fintale Wareda. And secondly, Amhara militia members have entered East Velega. Both East Velega and East Shiva zones of Oromia region share border with Amhara region.
Earn your degree in less than 12 months for under $11,000. University of Phoenix's competency-based programs are
Oromo Liberation Army had increased its activities on Western Front. It was in control of some key roads in Western Oromia. It was planning to cut off major roads linking Oromia with Amhara region. That is why Amhara militia members have entered Oromia region to support Oromia Special Forces. And now fighting is underway with OLA on one side and Oromia Amhara forces on the other side. Secondly, was Oromo Liberation Army today confirmed that it is in control of Fincha Sugar Factory. I informed you yesterday about that. Today, we saw an official confirmation from Oda Turbi, OLA spokesperson. He is confirming that OLA has taken control of Fincha Sugar Factory. OLA has OLA has appointed a new spokesperson to talk to international media. The name of the person is Nijat Hamza. Oda Turbi was already in touch with international news outlets. I don't know why new spokesperson has been appointed by Oromo Liberation Army. In southern Oromia, fighting is underway between Oromo Liberation Army and Oromia Regional Forces in Nagale, Burana, a key town in Burana zone. If OLA takes control of Nagale, Burana, it could block Moali border crossing between Ethiopia and Kenya. Though I don't think OLA is going to block this border crossing. OLA is in control of the road, Ethiopia-Kenya road. One section of this road which passes through Guji. OLA is fighting in Burana. If it takes control of Burana, then we might see OLA trying to block Moali border crossing, but I don't think OLA will try to block this key border crossing between Ethiopia and Kenya. Secondly, we have an update from a new offensive started by Tigray Defense Force in Afar region. Yesterday, I informed you about TDF attack on Birhale Wareda. Birhale Wareda is in Zone 2 of Afar region. From Makele to Birhale, there is a main highway which was built during TPLF-led rule. Today, again, we confirmed from some sources that Today, again, fighting happened in Birhale. There is communication shutdown in this part of Afar region, Zone 2. We don't have any pictures, videos for confirmation, but several sources are confirming that TDF has launched an attack on Zone 2 in Birhale, Wareda. What are TDF's military objectives here? Does TDF want to advance towards Eritrea of our border areas? It's still not clear, viewers, but most of the sources are confirming that today was day 2 of fighting in Birhale, Wareda, between Afar militia members and Tigray Defense Force. There is no presence of Ethiopian National Defense Forces in this part of Afar region. Thirdly, viewers, we have an update from Debre Tabor front. Amhara Special Forces have shared some evidence that they are in control of some key towns between Gashina and Debre Tabor. TDF's offensive on Debre Tabor failed. Amhara forces, ENDF took control of Gashina. Now Amhara forces are taking control of, they're recapturing towns between Gashina and Debre Tabor. Today, Amhara forces shared pictures from 3 places, Ghase, Ozet, and Kamir Dinge. Amhara Special Forces claim that these 3 places are under the control of Amhara forces and Ethiopian National Defense Forces. You can see the pictures of Amhara Special Forces from Ghase, Ozit, and Kamir Dinge. When TDF was advancing towards Debre Tabor, TDF soldiers had shared pictures from these places as well, especially from Kamir Dinge. We saw pictures of Tigray TDF soldiers. Now, it seemed that Amhara Special Forces have retaken Ghase, Ozit, and Kamir Dinge. I've been saying for the last 48 hours that Tigray Defense Force units are trapped between Gashina and Debre Tabor. Now we have confirmation that gradually Amhara Special Forces are taking control of areas, places between Gashina and Debre Tabor. And they're sharing pictures and videos. We saw a video from Gashina yesterday. I shared the video with you. What about Mount Guna, where Ethiopian Air Force conducted airstrikes and reportedly TDF suffered some losses there as well? We don't have any pictures from Mount Guna so far. We saw pictures of TDF fighters from Mount Guna a few days ago before TDF suffered losses there. Now, so far, Amhara Special Forces, ENDF, have not shared anything from Mount Guna. They're claiming to be in control of Mount Guna. We're waiting for some sort of visual confirmation from Amhara forces, ENDF or
viewers,
TDF about
please,
who is in control of
you are advised to verify this information with other medias. So this is one media claim. Amharas are in control of some areas. So you have to verify with other media too.
People come together. We saw an enormous amount of unity in the
This is
response
Haiti
to the earthquake.
after earthquake. Okay, maybe.
That this can be turned into an opportunity for building back better.
This is heartbreaking.
Le système des Nations Unies dans le pays d'Haïti
I reported on Haiti last time.
De supporter les efforts du gouvernement avec des emergency supplies, avec des emergency medical teams qui arrivent, sont déjà arrivés, plus va arriver dans les prochains jours parce que ça c'était la priorité du ministère de la Santé et aussi de la coordination opérationnelle.
Maybe she's conducting prayer for the victims.
To do more, and that's why we're here, so that the international community sees there is Haitian leadership, that there is a partnership with the United Nations with the US government, with other partners, and that what we want to do is to strengthen that we do have a recovery that shows that there's silver lining in every crisis.
Okay, one more video about lockdown protests in Melbourne, Australia. This is a lockdown related with COVID-19 in Melbourne, Australia. So maybe some restriction imposed. People don't like it.
No, I'm keeping it as well. You want to keep it? Can I keep it? Yeah, keep it, right. Thanks, Mother. No worries. Stop resisting. Yes, you are. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Dan Andrews is number one. Fuck Dan Andrews.
Okay, that's the last video for the day. So the general view or update of Ethiopia and other parts of the world. So what we're missing in Ethiopia is the public Ethiopians are twisted by government propaganda or by the government some form of payment and protesting for the government instead of challenging the government for better leadership, instead of protesting against inflation, life expenses, and other brutalities happening in that country. We don't have that kind of courage. The one we see in Melbourne is just for COVID-19 restriction there. You see the difference? Not for somebody dying, or not for civil war or something. The dedication for their freedom. They don't want to stay home. They don't like the restriction. So where is that kind of internal feeling in Ethiopia? People are dying, bloodshed is happening, conflict everywhere, command post everywhere, but Ethiopians are still in line with Abiy Ahmed propaganda. And Abiy Ahmed will not be trusted for the dialogue they propose in September. He must be said, removed and open up for others to deal the country's future. That is my take for today. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate your comments. Please subscribe to my videos, share my videos so we can grow Concerned Citizens Media and make it a voice for the voiceless. Thank you again. So long, everyone.